Over 2,000 years ago was the celebration of the Lord's resurrection for the first time, but it didn't start out that way. It started out very different. The disciples were taken to the Garden of Gethsemane by Jesus. He had asked them to pray. Them not really understanding what was going to happen, they fell asleep. And when the army came to get Jesus and there was some resistance, they didn't know what to do. Peter thought to fight for this kingdom. And Jesus said no. And he submitted, and they took him away. This began the confusion. What is going on? Jesus had already told them exactly what was going to happen, but it didn't register with them. So they drug him off, and they, in the middle of the night, had a court, and it lasted all night, and they went from place to place, and Peter, at a distance, followed. He was in dismay, and that ultimately ended up in doubt, and then he ended up denying Christ, and everything that he had stood for now was seemingly melting away. Then he saw them beat his Savior, saw him beat his Lord, saw him beat his Rabbi, and then they crucified him. That was no doubt a very dark time for Peter and the other disciples. They were in isolation. They were in despair. Everything that they had projected in their mind that was going to happen was all gone. Now what would they do? How would they re-enter into society? What would people think? What was all of that? Was it a lie? As they sat there, no doubt they wondered, they dragged a master away, will they come and drag us away too? I suspect that those nights that followed were somewhat frightful as they relived in their mind what happened to the Lord, and will that happen to us? We're his followers. People know. It was public. Are they going to come and get us? Early one morning, they hear a bang at the gate. And I'm sure their hearts are shaken, thinking this is it. They're coming to get us. And as Peter makes his way down to see who it is, he's startled. There's not an army. There's not soldiers. There's not torches. They haven't come to drag them away. It's just Mary. And the news that she has is almost unbelievable. She tells them that they've taken the body. As if it wasn't enough that they killed the Savior, now they've taken the body. Almost in panic, him and John run off to the tomb. And as they get there, they see that it's so. That there is no Savior left. So their hope is gone and the body's gone. And now what? As they make their way back to their home, they realize that it really is over. It's final. There's nothing left. And I suspect that they even more relive all of the accounts, and Peter no doubt relived his denial after he had told the Lord that they'll all deny you, I will not. That's exactly what he did. And as all of this is being poured over in their minds over and over again, something begins to change. There's an energy, there's a light that comes into the room. There is Jesus that is there. He told them that he was going to come back, and he came back. And what entered the room was that love, that light, that forgiveness. And so as Peter fell down to worship him, he knew that all that Jesus had said was true. And though he doubted, and though he was in despair, in the end, Jesus was absolutely right. He had fulfilled his word, and there was exuberance and there was celebration because he had risen. Folks, we are in a time where we are in some isolation, and there's some depression, and there's some darkness, and there's some despair. But let me tell you what, Jesus is alive. And all that you're seeing unfolding is all that he said. There was a part there when they had went to the tomb, it said that they didn't believe. And there was some doubt. They didn't understand what it was that he really said. Pray for understanding. Pray for wisdom, that you might see that all that's unfolding is what Jesus had told us, and he will come again. You see, it started in the garden from the very beginning. Jesus prayed in a garden. Jesus was buried in a garden tomb, and he's preparing a place for us. And if you read that place, it looks just like a garden. So be encouraged. Even if things look dark, there is going to be a bright day. Things are going to turn around. Don't lose hope. And today, when you celebrate the Lord's resurrection, just remember what they experienced when they saw him. And we'll see him soon. God bless.